You want to be my friend, you have to be 18 and up. You want to date me, you have to be 21 and up. Why? Because I'm not no Davy Vanity.
Stay hot, side back, shadow boxing, swinging at the air, undefeated in delusion. Reality don't care, Jupiter creeping, got the whole cruise ship. Predator vibes, got a band from the book, Josh Block got the hell. Bottle in his clutch, captain of a ship that's been sinking too much. Over Navy rattling, can't step to the throne. Worry, talk the mic, let them reap what they've sown.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the show. Thanks for stopping by the channel again today. I'm going to be doing something a little bit different than I normally do today. I'm going to be covering a couple of Lolcows that I either haven't heard of before, or at least I'm not super familiar with, and I've never covered on my own show. I just finished editing my new Cobra video, which should be coming out not tomorrow. I already scheduled one for tomorrow, but I think in 2 days now. And one thing I mentioned while I was recording it is that since the newest Nova Discord leaks, there hasn't really been anything huge going on with any of like the big Lolcows for the first time in a while. For a long time, it was stuff nonstop. It was the Tofia Brother Chew stuff. It was Nova Discord stuff. It was like just nonstop news cycle, but it seems to have slowed down a little bit now. So with that being said, I thought it would be a good time for me to go back and cover some people that I'm not too familiar with, and you guys could kind of get to see me react live to these lunatics that I'm not super well versed on. So I'm going to be using Kiwi Tapes' channel to watch 3 videos on 3 different new Lolcows, or at least Lolcows that, like I said, just aren't as well known to me, and I haven't seen really in the A tier. These are like kind of the B tier, C tier guys. So we'll be using Kiwi Tapes' channel for that, just because he has some really good like deep dives, and he does like these introduction videos. It's almost like Smokey MCC's Meet the Lolcow series, where he'll kind of start off at the beginning, how they got famous on the internet, and just go into whatever it was that usually the controversy that made them blow up. So it's a good place to start. So that's where I'm going to start, and that's what I'll be using for the stream today. This is Brandon Brootal that we're starting out with here. Other than watching Too High for Stupid, and they will very, very occasionally use like a clip of him, I really don't know what his whole thing is, other than he looks way too old to be as emo as he is. So I'm just gonna start the video, and we'll see what this guy's about.
Meet Brandon Brootal.
There's some bad rumors this one girl spread that are pretty bad.
I'm Broly! So far,
And someone saw me swinging my skateboard around and called the police.
Brandon Brootal, also known as Black Veil Brandon or Keith McKennison, is a
Black Veil Brandon is crazy. I've never heard that before.
a 35-year-old man from North Carolina. And like many other people in 2008, Brandon found himself interested in the emo scene. While I have covered a goth personality on this channel before, this was my first time looking at emo subculture.
Oh, I gotta say, just right from the bat, he can't hold a candle to King Cobra. King Cobra is the ultimate alternative Lolcow. This guy is like, this is a joke.
And I found it extremely difficult to differentiate between the two. Each side claims to be more in tune with the emotional aspect of the dark themes involved in the scene, while claiming that the other is purely about aesthetic. From what I've been able to tell, there are slight deviations in their styles. Goths love 2 things: invading Rome between the 3rd and 5th century, and Victorian-style clothing. As where your emo is more skinny jeans that are ripped up and a band t-shirt. It's all
He described that ridiculously well. And also, this is literally like the Lolcow equivalent of the episode of South Park where they do the goths versus the emos. This is crazy.
all very hard to differentiate, so it's mainly based on what the person identifies as. And Brandon chose Team Emo, being this way for almost 2 decades, long after the peak of emo popularity. Due to a combination of that, as well as Brandon's awkward personality, he would find great success on TikTok, starting his very first account in the year of 2020. And though we don't know much about Brandon's early life, these TikToks would give us a great insight to just exactly who he was.
You want to be my friend, you have to be 18 and up. You want to date me, you have to be 21 and up. Why? Because I'm not no Davy Vanity.
Now, why do I feel like that's a lie? The fact that Kiwi is including this clip early on is like a... it's like Chekhov's... I don't even know what to call it. It's like Chekhov's Age of Consent.
When you do your eyeliner and flatten your hair, but you get caught in the rain because the rain comes out of nowhere. You don't have an umbrella.
These quote-unquote skits that Brandon made were very popular. As I previously stated, the emo scene was no longer at the height of its popularity, so to see this middle-aged man still rocking the 2008 look attracted a lot of people. And of course, the comparisons to Davey Vanity were made. Comparisons which he absolutely despised, but would seemingly never escape. But skits weren't the only thing that Brandon was known for, because he also produced a number of extremely popular singing videos, where he would sing emo verses into random household objects.
Screaming into much energy drink can, part 2.
So far, I'll put a name into my soul. I'll be a fire that'll catch you.
Okay, perfect weapon scream.
He looks like if Tammy Hull was emo. Like, this is Tammy Hull in like an emo cosplay. This is insane.
One final fight for this tonight. With knives and pens, we made a promise.
Out of curiosity, I had to go listen to Perfect Weapon by the Black Veil Brides, and he did pretty good. It definitely took a lot of effort, and it was noticed because these videos were insanely popular on his TikTok, only seconded by the skits. But despite these kinds of videos being popular, it seemed like Brandon's main passion was either dancing or motivational speaking. He would tell people over and over that he was completely comfortable with who he was, and that they should be too.
I get called poser, fake, and wannabe, and not emo every single day because of some rumors and stuff. But hey, you know what? I'm not convinced one bit I'm not being who I truly am. I'm not convinced one bit I'm being a...
If he hadn't literally been doing this for 2 decades, like Kiwi said, I would believe that this was a character, because he's even doing like the South Park exaggerated Tom DeLonge accent.
Poser, fake, or wannabe at all. Because I'm comfortable with myself, I'm secure in it, and this is what I really like, and this is who I really am, and no one can change my mind, and no one will change my mind. I dressed emo and listened to emo since 2008, and did my hair emo since 2008, and I'm not going to stop, because that's like who I am. And what I'm going to say is, what's important is to know who you are. Don't go by who people assume you are. Don't know who you are because people assume you're something you're not. And that's what I'm doing. I'm going by who I truly am. I'm not letting people's assumptions of me, really messed up assumptions, bring me down.
I'm sure that y'all caught that last bit. He's not gonna let people's messed up assumptions about him bring him down. Now, on its own, this is a harmless enough statement. You could assume that it's in reference to his emo lifestyle, but if you continue to watch more and more of Brandon's TikToks, then you realize that he talks about rumors and assumptions quite a bit. I first began to notice this when Brandon talked about a girl that he used to date in his hometown, where Brandon states that he can no longer date girls in town because his ex has spread rumors about him.
See, I gotta say, like, anytime that a guy jumps to that, where they're just like, oh, my ex gave me such a bad name that now nobody likes me anymore, it's always like, I don't know, man. If you're, like, known as being a pretty good person, and you have, like, close friends and people in your circle are, like, aware of you being a decent person, it might do a little bit of damage if you have, like, a crazy ex that talks a lot of shit on you, but most people who actually know you aren't gonna believe it. So, if, you know, you have a breakup and the other person starts talking some shit and, like, everybody flips on you right away, that might be kind of an indicator that you did not have the best social standing to begin with.
My area, there are a lot of girls, and I think other guys too, or people who listen to emo that I could hang out with and be friends with, and there's girls who listen to it I could date, but unfortunately I'm alone. They don't talk to me because of some bad rumors this one girl spread that are pretty bad. A person who has a vendetta against me in my town, causing all these people to bash on me. Okay, I am literally getting bashed on. Some people try to hit me with their cars sometimes. You know, sometimes when I'm even in the car with another person, you know, the thing is, yeah, I'm getting bashed on, but you know what?
What would the rumor be? That people are just, like, aiming their cars at you like heat-seeking missiles? Like, what? It's insane that he's not even saying what this person supposedly said.
Yeah, be yourself. Like, that's all I want to say. It might not help you, but just wear what you want to wear. If it's what you like, go for it. Everyone, there's some stuff went around that made me look bad. Made it hard to get emo girlfriend, but I do feel really lonely. Like, I really want an emo girlfriend to grow old and happy with, but I'm gonna keep my head up. I'm gonna find that one girl for me one day. So.
This is but a sliver of all the videos Brandon has posted talking about these rumors, and some of them are even worse. If you've seen the title of this video, I'm sure that you can assume what Brandon has been accused of later in the timeline. But the clip I'm about to show you is before he was exposed to the wider internet, and in hindsight was very telling of what was to come.
Hey, I have to say this again, because people in my town don't understand. I'm only friends with people who are about, 18 and up, and I only date women who are 21 and up, basically. 20 maybe, but 21 and up, preferably, so.
Yeah, like I said earlier, that's like Chekhov's age of consent. Like, for it to be mentioned in the first act like this just means it's gonna come back as something bad later.
But, just wanted to say that, because the people in my town don't think so. I do not like kids. I do not go for anyone under 18. The people in my town are stupid. So, basically, they don't get it. So, I'm not really attracted to anyone under 18.
I'm not saying I'm not saying that every rumor about everybody all the time is true, but like I feel like usually there's some basis, right? Like or that it's even, kind of believable in some way. Like, I don't know. I've heard people start rumors to mess with people's reputations before, and I don't know, maybe it's like this person drinks too much, or this person calls out of work all the time. But I don't think I've ever heard someone just in a, I don't know, like in a breakup dispute, say that the other person likes kids. Like, and the fact that he's addressing this directly, like just trying to come at it head on and be like, no, 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 you guys are wrong. Like, it just bodes so poorly for where this is going.
Gotta be like at least 20, but preferably 21 and over, basically. 18 only be friends with someone, but dating is like 21 and up.
As you can tell, there was trouble in paradise. Brandon already had accusations floating around about him in his hometown, but things were about to get so much worse online. It would all start with rumors circulating that Brandon had passed away. He hadn't posted to his TikTok for a while, and people ran with the meme. Brandon would have mixed reactions to these trolling attempts, but still he would feed into it, pausing.
I won't lie, I did not see a death hoax being the next arc in this.
The situation to only intensify as time went on. The next big thing to happen to Brandon Brootal would be the loss of his first TikTok account. The TikTok was not deleted or banned, Brandon simply forgot the password, leading him to create the now infamous TikTok page, Brandon Brootal 7. And this TikTok would start out with a bang, when Brandon revealed that he would be taking a extremely long break due to a forced haircut.
Hello everyone, so I'm probably not going to be posting videos much anymore because I was forced to get my hair cut. So I'm gonna go ahead and wait until my hair grows back in to post more videos.
True to
Alright, so one, it's not like they shaved his head, it was still like in the style that he wanted, and two, I'm gonna need to do some research on this guy after this. Like I said, I'm kind of coming in cold here. I've only heard of this guy once or twice, but I really don't know, like, his background. What does he mean a forced haircut? Because he looks like, he looks like 40 years old. Like, conservatively, I would say this guy is 30. Like I said, he's kind of got, like, Tammy Hull, Tony Chase face going on, so he looks even older than that. But this is not, in my opinion, this isn't someone I would say even in like his early 20s, so I don't know what he means a forced haircut.
To his word, Brandon would post very few videos until his hair was back at its appropriate length, and when he returned, viewers reacted in a number of ways, many claiming that his appearance had changed drastically in the months that he had been gone. But despite the people saying that, no one could claim it wasn't the same old Brandon.
Hello everyone, so I went trick-or-treating, and I got lots of candy. Let's see. Let's look at all the candy I got. Alright, you can see it. Look at that. Oh. That's a buttload of candy.
He began posting the usual content, urban
That was like really unsettling. Like, I don't know, there was just something about it that gave me a bad vibe, especially the idea of him in that fit with like his odd crackhead energy that he has going on, walking around among all the kids that are trick-or-treating. Maybe I'm being like hypersensitive to it because it was mentioned earlier and because I know what a lot of these Lolcows do, especially when they have an interest that usually pertains to an age group that they are no longer in. But yeah, that gave me a bad vibe. That gave me the ick.
Exploration, singing, and dance videos. It seemed like the second coming of Brandon Brootal had finally happened, and that his old content would resume as usual. But it would in fact be the opposite, because this point in the timeline is what I like to call the beginning of the end.
Hello everyone. Okay, I am very excited. I am no longer single. I have a girlfriend. Well, it's long distance relationship though, but it's still a relationship. But she went ahead and ordered some stuff for DoorDash for me, and she got me all these boxes of chocolate and everything, and other stuff too. So I'm really happy about it. So yeah, I'm no longer single. I am taken by a beautiful girl. Her name is Sammy, and she's very cute. Her voice is very cute, and so that's what I wanted to say because I'm excited about telling people about her because I love her so much. So yeah, I'm really happy.
Yo, what's up, Badger? What's going on, man? Good to see you again. Also, yeah, Kiwi said something a little bit earlier about a lot of fans said when he came back from his little haircut hiatus that he looked like vastly different. And yeah, he kind of aged like milk. Like there's something weird going on with his face where he looks like he aged like 5 years and maybe a couple of months. I don't know if you guys see it, but he looks like swollen and kind of wrinkly. It's very odd. He definitely looks noticeably worse. Like I don't want to speculate like substance use, but usually that's what does that to you in such a short period of time, you know?
With her and everything, she's she's exactly what I like and everything. I mean, yeah. So anyway, just wanted to brag about her a bit. So I'm going to go.
In 2023, DMs would surface of Brandon Brootal speaking to what he thought was a minor. I would also like to bring up that this supposed catfish used actual images of a real child who was unaware and had not given their consent. Absolutely.
See, how does that happen anymore? Like, if you're the type of person who cares enough about this stuff that you're doing these, like, you're supposed to be doing these catfishing stings to, like, stop bad shit from happening to kids, you know what I mean? Like, to catch these people, not just to, like, get a laugh and mess with them. Like, it's supposed to be to catch them and to prevent, like, victims from happening. So for you to do that, like, I don't know, man, that's just something that when I hear that, like, you should know better. There's so many channels out there, like GDon and stuff like that, that they have it down to a science. They get these people all the time. I don't know how long ago this happened. I'm not like surprised that it happened because unfortunately people do this like relatively frequently, even though I feel like every time it happens, the internet is like, hey, that is not the way to go about that. But that's just really frustrating because the only person here that you want to hate is Brandon, but that's just like, don't don't do that when you're doing these stings, man. You know, like that's just no, that's not right. That's not right.
Absolutely scummy of the catfish to do. While he thought that he was speaking to a young girl, Brandon would send a number of illicit images and messages, bringing up the fact numerous times that he was not a sicko, he just thought she was a cute emo girl, even claiming in one message that if she wasn't real, none of this could be used against him anyways, as well as stating that he wanted to meet with her in person. Rightly so, this was a disaster for him, and initially Brandon would throw out all kinds of excuses for his actions, first claiming that the messages were photoshopped, and then claiming that his account was hacked, frantically posting TikToks trying to prove his innocence.
Yeah, so like I said earlier, I'm not trying to say that anybody who like has an interest that's directed at a younger age group is a freak like this, but there is something about when people like Brandon are like hyper fixated on something that like this culture that he's trying to be a part of is I mean I was a part of it when I was in like 8th grade through when I was like maybe a sophomore in high school at the very latest. So it's like, you know, this is aimed at like 12, 13, 14-year olds. So it's like when you're hyper fixated on that stuff and it's your whole identity, there's just a trend of people who are wrapped up in that, like usually ending up being what, you know, Brandon was just exposed for being. And it's across the board. It's like this happened with Jupiter. You know, Jupiter liked all this stuff that was, he was watching like preschool shows and stuff like that. Like, it's just, it seems like this is the case every single time this happens.
To talk dirty to a filthy minor, and then the minor thought it was me and screenshotted it and spread it everywhere on Instagram and TikTok and everywhere. And thanks to the hacker, I looked at all the comments of how people felt about me before the screenshots. And no one feels like that about me anymore. Thanks to the hacker making me look like a fucking making me look like Davey Vanity.
I think now we can begin to piece together why there are horrible rumors floating around about Brandon in his hometown. Years before he had been exposed for all of this, he had made numerous TikToks discussing these rumors, dancing around exactly what they were. But we would get a much better idea when someone who lived near Brandon would speak out on the situation. Her name was Kat, a fellow member of the emo community. She claimed that she was being harassed and romantically pursued by Brandon quite aggressively, that Brandon had made numerous threats and disturbing statements about her. She also made it very clear that she had no intentions of associating with Brandon, despite his constant advances.
He has allegations against him for being a child predator after...
Pause. So she already looks like 10 years younger than he does. Like, this being somebody who is coming out and saying that they were already bothered by Brandon, like, that just bolsters the allegation so much in my eyes.
falling for some bait online. Screenshots of him talking to the alleged minor began to circulate the internet. Meanwhile, my information was within these screenshots. These were the same screenshots being used for other influencers and people online to tell their friends and tell their audiences, my name and my information is being put out there under a negative light for something that I'm not involved in and I never asked to be involved in. After the allegations were publicized and I blocked Brandon, he went live walking down a street that I recognize in our city. He claims to be looking for me, saying that if he just knew where I lived, he would show up at my front door. He's also telling his viewers to reach out to me for him and to get me to talk to him. The point of this video was to just clear up any confusion and to publicly state that I am not associated with him and I want no part in this.
If you need even further proof that Brandon has been extremely creepy towards Kat, then look no further than the clip I'm about to show you, which has been censored for obvious reasons.
So it's completely gone now. It's not gonna happen anymore. So that's good. So let my friend Kat know that. And I wanna be honest about something.
I love that, like, seconds ago we saw this girl be like, I am not associated with this guy at all whatsoever. And then as soon as he's talking about it, he's like, yeah, so my friend Kat.
Not that long ago? Okay, I had a picture of Cat Catastrophe in my phone, and not that long ago, I was kind of off to it a little. I don't care if you let her know about that. She already knows I like her that way, so she already knows I like her that way. I still would like to just be friends with her, because I know she has a boyfriend, and she doesn't like me that way, so I still want to just be friends with her again.
So I know earlier that I said I didn't want to suggest substance use without, like, any reason to substantiate that, but there's something about when people just have really, really high energy and they talk really fast and they're saying a lot of stuff that they probably shouldn't be saying, that you're just like, I don't know, man, I'm just getting upper vibes from this whole thing.
Kat would bring up a disturbing post that Brandon had made in reference to her, claiming that he wanted to find where she was and saying, and this is a quote by the way, that his fists knew no gender. Though Kat began to fade out of the story and Brandon's interests, his fists would be a completely different story. You see, Brandon lives with his dad, who he also refers to as his roommate, and to say that they don't get along would be an understatement. Shockingly, Brandon's dad is not emo, and seemingly has little understanding for his son's lifestyle. Keep in mind that Brandon is 35, making his dad, at the very least, in his 50s.
Oh man, I said it earlier, man, 35 years old, like, he looks 40, he looks like shit, but 35 is crazy. And the other thing is, if you're a grown man and you live with your dad, that's not your roommate. You live with your dad. That's it. Don't try to spice it.
so it's probably a very hard thing for him to get. And this has led to numerous confrontations with Brandon, and you'll understand why when I show you this next clip. In an attempt to embarrass his dad, Brandon would make a TikTok displaying the abhorrent conditions of his room. It seems that Brandon's dad may have a bit of a hoarding problem, and instead of offering to help clean, or do anything to assist your elderly father to not live like this, you take a film of probably the most embarrassing thing in his life and display it to thousands of people.
This is the room. Okay, oh, it looks pretty bad. Holy shit. Oh my god. What the fuck? Holy look at that. What the fuck?
I wonder what the pipeline is of your parents being hoarders and then you being a Lolcow. Because it's a lot of them, man. Like, the Ditch household looks like that. The Nova household looks like that. To a certain extent, the Cyrax household looks like that. I remember there was a whole thing with Chris Chan. The whole fight that he gets into with Bob Chandler is all about how, like, their house was going to get condemned because there was images of it all over the internet. So, like, it's odd to me that there's, like, this entire subculture of people on the internet that at their surface they don't seem to have that much in common, but for some reason they all live with their hoarder parents. There's got to be some study done to figure this out.
Dude, let's check out this shit right here. Oh, look at that. Ew.
Before we go any further, Nova's Black Panther tee said the dollar store Halloween bats on his wall. Yeah, no, I've had those. I've had those for Halloween parties. He 100% has the dollar store Halloween bats stuck up on his wall with the little sticky putty, like, year round. That's wild. Nice. Also, Nova's Black Panther tee, you might have to change your name soon. It's been the R.I.P. Liam Payne tee for like 2 weeks now at the very least, so you might have to throw an update in there sometime soon.
Dude, just sitting there like that. That's gross, yo. Whoa, look at I don't like Diet Coke. Diet soda.
You know what I've noticed? The people who like diet soda really like diet soda. It's almost like a way of life. But I digress. The conditions of that room were abhorrent. We've all been messy teenagers at one point in our life, at least the majority of us, but this is pure filth with food waste and God knows what else hiding in there. I also noticed a couple of bottles of alcohol, along with the sheetless mattress. It's clear that Brandon's father is not in a particularly good space mentally himself, so I'm sure many of you are shocked that Brandon and his father argue often. Sometimes it's not just arguments. It can get physical, with one of these events being caught live. You see, Brandon and his father share a wall, with each of their rooms being located on one side of it. Brandon likes to live stream late at night, usually quoting anime very loudly, and one night when his father had enough, we got one of Brandon Brootal's most infamous clips, where during a fight with his elderly father, he proclaims himself to be the Dragon Ball Z character, Broly.
Mortal ass bullets. Nothing but dust.
Hey, boy.
I wasn't doing nothing. I'm trying to go to sleep. I'm trying to get ready for bed.
That's why you're talking?
No, I'm
I
just...
heard you in my fucking room.
No, I'm trying to get ready for bed and you're interrupting me.
Interrupt you to go to bed?
He's trying to, like, gaslight his dad that he wasn't talking. He's like, no, I wasn't talking. He's like, I heard you. I almost feel bad for these parents sometimes. Like, I know a lot of them kind of did things to end up where their kids are going to be in this situation, but it's just like, I can't imagine, man. Like, I think we all probably had a moment as a kid where you're doing something kind of cringe that you don't perceive as cringe because you're like maybe 12 or 13 years old, and like maybe your dad walks in and sees you doing it and he gives you that, like, it's not quite like a disappointed look, but it's just like a come on, what are you doing, man type look, you know? And like, it's bad enough when it's something minor and you're 12 or 13. I can't imagine as a father seeing your kid doing this shit when he's 35 years old. Like, that is just beyond. That's got to be like, that's got to be like a pain in your heart that you just can't, I don't know, that makes you want to get in a train and just not come back home.
Dude, what I come here for? I'm in my room. My TV full blast. I hear you.
Yeah, I want to go to bed.
And so you were going to bed, and so you got to talk to yourself when you go to bed? Who are talking about this, man? You guys not talking. You got to I'm Broly! Hit me, come on, hit me, you're out here. Good. Hit me, motherfucker, hit me. Come on, hit me, hit your dad.
No way. No fucking way, dude. This is the Bob Chandler. This is the Bob Chandler all over again. This is crazy, man. This is like what Uncle Drew wants to do to Nova every day.
Anybody else have a father who called him boy? I'd mess up big time, and Papa Kiwi would be like, God damn it, boy, what the hell are you doing? When I was a kid, I found it very demeaning, but now as a grown man, me and my father call each other boy. I wish Brandon and his father could have had such a positive evolution of father and son tension. It seems like they have not moved past the point from when Brandon was an unruly teenager. In fact, this speaks to a lot of aspects of Brandon's life, that he has been stuck in this teenage emo way of thinking for decades, unable to move forward. Yet another common theme when it comes to Brandon, neither learning from his mistakes or attempting to improve himself because of them. If you need further proof of this, look no further than the clip we're going to discuss, because Brandon would find himself in yet another controversy soon after the fight. Voice messages would be leaked yet again of Brandon speaking to what was supposedly a minor. I could find no proof of him being shown her age, but this is widely regarded as the second time that Brandon was caught. And given the way that he speaks during this, it's not very surprising that this is the conclusion the public has came to. I'm gonna give you a little bit of a warning. These voice messages are pretty unsettling.
Hey, pretty lady. Yeah, I know, I sent a voice message to your other friend, hitting on her. The thing is,
Anytime that I hear that we're going to be listening to voice messages from a Lolcow to any third party, I just know it's going to be bad. I've been seeing so much on the Views and Fakers channel of Andy Ditch on the phone with like 911 operators and crisis lines and stuff, and that's always really cringe. Then sometimes people will they'll read the stuff that Nova was sending people in the discords and stuff like that, and it's just the hardest part of covering lolcows is when you have to actually hear word for word, oftentimes in their own voice, the things that they're saying to people that they're interested in or that they think they're talking to, and this is just, it's gonna be bad. I can feel it's gonna be bad already. He's doing like half of a baby voice and it's making my skin crawl.
I'm very well that this shit is all creepy, but I really don't care because you both think I'm a kid. So
Anaconda said, Papa Brootal wasted no time. Yeah, see, I didn't see that coming in that clip at all. Like, it seemed like he was just yelling at him, and he was just like, he didn't even seem that mad at the beginning when he came in. He seemed like mildly bothered. Like, he was just like, stop doing that. I was in the other room trying to sleep. And then all of a sudden, he comes into frame and he just starts swinging. It was like a World Star video. I was, I was shocked in the best possible way when he actually started swinging on him. And it's great too, because Brandon, he didn't even square up. Like, Brandon only put his hands up to block. He didn't even try to defend himself. Like, I don't know, if you're 35 and your dad is into his 50s, you should have the upper hand at that point, but he looked terrified.
you can't break what's already broken, so anyway, yeah. I was looking at your TikTok videos, and I saw one video where you had no makeup on. You look cute. You look so damn adorable. Just want to snuggle you.
Oh, what the actual fuck, dude? Like, fuck.
Make my snuggle kitten. I'm sorry. I'm getting really creepy. But anyway,
Yeah, you are, and the fact that you know that, and I can tell that you're gonna keep going is like, oh god, like this is like one of those try not to skip videos, and I'm losing.
yeah, I was looking in her eyes, and it made me feel shit. It made me feel like a lot of warm, fuzzy, blissful shit, and then I started having fantasies of like holding you close and snuggling you and just being with you and putting a ring on you. I fall in love with women really fast, okay? I'm trying not to because
That is an incredible red flag, and for you to just openly advertise that is a fucking nightmare.
But anyway, I'm gonna look emo again once I get my shit. Once my dad picks up my band strips and my ex, Sammy, gets my eyeliner, black hair dye, my black nail polish, door dashed to my room on either Tuesday or Wednesday, then I'll be happier and looking the emo way I usually look.
Did he just say he has to get the eyeliner door dashed? Can't he go to like a... You can get that shit at like a gas station. Can't he go to like a CVS? Like, what is with the lolcows and using like DoorDash and GoPuff and stuff like that? Like, it I guess it's probably better for the public that they're not out walking around like amongst the people, but at the same time, like, I don't know, it just rubs me the wrong way that like, I don't know. I used to use DoorDash occasionally, but it's like if you're trying to get like $12 worth of food from Burger King, it ends up being like a $30 order after everything. So if he's buying like cheap ass convenience store eyeliner, that's like $5, and he's definitely spending like $18 to $20 on DoorDash for that, just not to go outside. When he clearly doesn't have a job or anything, so like what's keeping you so busy?
But yeah, so like I'm honest when I say I'm not a kid dealer. I'm not a kid. I'm not into minors. I just love adult women. Like I said, you can't break something that's already broken. You already.
No, no one who likes adult women says I just like adult women. At one point, I remember in a Jupiter video that I was watching, Jupiter was like, "Yeah, I have a new girlfriend now, and she's 32. Actually, she's 34." And it was just like, "You're a fucking liar, bro." Now you're trying to push back the other way because everybody you've ever talked to is at like fucking single-digit ages. That you're like, "Oh, they're actually 60. I'm just into gilfs only now."
I think I'm me as a kid, so it doesn't matter if you think I'm a creep too. So, whatever. So yeah, I gotta go.
I know I shouldn't be laughing about the situation, but when he says, "I look in your eyes and it makes me feel shit," that's just romantic right there. It's exactly how I proposed to Miss Kiwi. Will you make me feel shit for the rest of my life? But I digress. For the second time, Brandon had had illicit messages leaked online, and this caused him to go into panic mode. He would begin discussing the topics of his legal troubles and jail more and more. Particularly, he would talk about recent criminal activities that he had been up to, and then his fear of jail.
If you're watching this and you're the guy with the curly hair, with the girl with the black hair who sometimes says hi to me, I'm sorry if I ever pointed a weapon at you. Like I said, I thought your vehicle is kind of like the other vehicle of this other bitch who's harassing me. So I'm sorry if I did that to you. I don't mean any aggressiveness or hate towards you at all. So, but towards the bitch that is in that vehicle, who keeps saying shit to me when she goes by, like, "Oh, you're better off gay," or stuff like, "You're fake," or "poser." I don't know. What I'm gonna say is something very serious on here. People are lucky I don't have a gun.
Brandon was no stranger to making these kinds of threats. He had been saying stuff like this for quite some time. Whenever people were critical of him, he was quick to threaten their lives, and during one of these instances, Brandon would find himself in a bit of legal trouble. You see, Brandon's residence was located near a school, and many of these school kids were very well aware of who Brandon Brootal is and what he had done, so they would often ridicule Brandon for the messages that were leaked or his emo style. One
Did they just say that this guy is getting bullied by school kids?
day, Brandon couldn't take it anymore, and would threaten this school in one of his TikTok posts. After a little bit of digging, people would find out that this was not the first time that Brandon had made a serious threat, as a college had received one from Brandon a number of years ago. Unlike that previous incident, Brandon was charged, and if found guilty, could face some time in jail.
I swear they all do like the same 5 things. Now he's doing Chris Chan shit, he's threatening colleges. It's always, see, that's the thing, man, is that the college administration people are always getting in, they're always getting in the way of a love quest, of a sweetheart search, you know?
After making bond and being released from police custody, Brandon would make a number of TikToks trying to paint the situation in a completely different light.
So what I want to say in this video is I'm in a little bit of trouble. I went to court and I got told I could face up to 60 days in prison. Because a few years ago, I was skateboarding and people were going by harassing me on the road. And so I was swinging my skateboard around. And then someone saw me swinging my skateboard around and called the police. And I got charged with impeding traffic and I didn't show up for court when I was scheduled to.
I gotta say, like, of all the charges you could catch, what a wimp-ass charge to catch. I got charged with impeding traffic. Like, imagine you get thrown in a jail cell next to some dude, you know, and they're like, you're like, what are you in here for? And he's like, armed robbery. What about you? You have to look him in the eye with your stupid eyeliner that you haven't even rubbed all the way off yet, and you have to be like, impeding traffic.
So when I showed up for court like a few days ago, they said I could face up to 60 days in prison. But, I called my court-appointed attorney, but the girl answered instead of my attorney, and I talked to her a bit, and she said it's not likely that, she knows about my case, and she said it's not likely that I'm going to go to prison, but I don't want to go to prison.
In every video, he has like an additional forehead wrinkle from the last.
Because I had to take this out, my lip piercing out.
After all of this went down, things were very different for Brandon. Not only was he facing some serious legal repercussions for his actions, but he was also vehemently trying to defend himself from all of these accusations, as well as lamenting the fact that it had changed his life in a pretty significant way, no longer being welcomed in the scene or wanted by any women.
Women thinking I'm into kids just turns women off, and it makes me lose so many chances with women. I don't want to become violent to where I get violent towards a woman when I get rejected, because that's just not me.
Pause. Why would you even say that? Why, again, this is like a Chekhov's thing right here where like over and over again in this video, he keeps saying like, I wouldn't want anybody to think I would do X, and then 10 minutes later it's like, hey guys, people are saying I got caught doing X.
But being rejected as much as I get rejected, man, fuck. There's incels, complete ugly incels who are complete assholes who can get more adult women than me, than I ever could.
Dude, that is the incel talking point. Like, what?
You know why? Because no one thinks they're into minors. All the adult women don't want to date me because they think I'm into kids. This is some bullshit.
As you can tell, Brandon was becoming increasingly more unstable. None of this was helped by the fact that him and his father were having serious financial issues. Brandon's father had been laid off from his job, claiming it was because of his age, and Brandon was no longer working, merely receiving his SSI payments, which was not enough to keep them where they were, having to move out and live in motels, which Brandon would be kicked out of due to his increasingly unstable behavior.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm just staying in the car because I'm not allowed in the motel because they kicked me out because I was talking talking with someone over the phone that made some guess at the motel.
So I've never worked at a motel myself, but I have a close friend who worked at a motel for like 2 years. And like I'm in a city, so it's not even like a small town, not busy motel. It's like a city, like 24/7, like rent by the hour motel. There is some, from what I hear, insane behavior, like criminal behavior, lunatic behavior going on at these motels every day, consistently, nonstop. And like nobody is being kicked out for the most part unless it crosses a level where like the police need to be called. And even then a lot of times it's like, people just kind of get talked down and then end up staying. So like for him to be complaining that he's consistently getting kicked out of motels is like, I can't imagine what he was doing to end up actually having to leave the premises.
Motel uncomfortable. So I have to be at the gas station in the car near the motel. I'm close enough to the motel to where it counts, to where I won't get in trouble with the ankle monitor guy.
You heard Brandon talking about how he was fine being in his car as long as he didn't leave the premises, and that's because after all of this, Brandon was put on house arrest, and now he didn't even have a house. Things were worse than ever for him, so it's not shocking to say that Brandon only got worse himself. He would continue to make threatening statements against establishments and people, comparing himself to figures in the past who had committed mass tragedies, and raging against the trolls. All of this would of course result in even more charges being levied against Brandon Brootal. Brandon even stating himself that he was making his lawyer's job not one bit easier by doing all of this.
See, he mentioned earlier that he had a public defender, like he was like, oh, my court-appointed attorney. That poor guy, man. Like, those people, they're fresh out of law school, they're just trying their best, to like give these people a fair defense. And just imagine, like, your guy shows up. This is like the 6th or 7th case you've dealt with today at the county courthouse. And it's a 35-year-old man with his nails painted, with all this fake silver jewelry, wearing a fishnet shirt. Like, immediately, before he even opens his mouth, you're just like, God damn it.
As my house arrest, it's gonna be for a while, honestly, because my attorney, she was gonna schedule a bond hearing for me in like 30 days from when I got out of jail, but she's gonna wait it out longer, since she said that she doesn't want to do it too soon because they're gonna add the threats I made on TikTok to my case where I could go back to jail. So she wants to wait a little longer. Oh, is it worth?
That's another thing, just thinking about like what the court system is. Imagine you're like a 60-year-old judge, you've been doing this for like 30 years, and this guy walks into your courtroom and you have to look at the charges, and it's like he made TikTok threats against a motel. It's like, I'm sorry, Your Honor, I was harassing a number of Hello Kitty girls on the internet.
First thing in jail, just being around dudes, honestly. But yeah, and not having like women to talk to, but whatever.
His attorney saw the writing on the wall, that Brandon was not going to win this case. The evidence against him was airtight. The only strategy left was to delay the trial and give Brandon as much freedom as possible. But of course, this would not work. After a live where Brandon once again made threats, particularly rage-filled, he would be taken away by police, once again charged with making these horrible threats. And that is where Brandon Brootal, Keith McKennison, finds himself today, currently incarcerated for the crimes that I just mentioned, and in all honesty, it's where he needs to be.
Wait, this guy is actually locked up right now? That is not how I saw this story ending, because they're never locked up. Like, no matter what they do, they're always, like Cyrax and Nova, like, they get exposed for horrible shit, and they're still on the street. I cannot imagine how this dude is doing in prison right now. Like, all I can think of is that, you know, I've mentioned on stream before and in some of the videos that when I was in college, I was a prison guard for a couple of years at a state facility, and it was like the wildest, worst, but also most interesting job I ever had. And like, once in a while, we would get guys who would come in, and they just did not look like they were built for for being incarcerated. And in my state, you can't just take protective custody. Like, you can't just announce that you want it. You know what I mean? There has to be a reason. However, people in my state are aware that you get put in protective custody if you threaten to harm yourself. So sometimes we would get guys who would come in through intake and they'd look like terrified, like shaking like a leaf, and they would just be like, you know, I'm feeling like maybe I might do something to myself. And like, you could tell, you know, the difference between somebody who actually meant it and somebody who was like just trying to get that protective custody, you know? And like, as soon as they said it, you're just like, ah, fuck, because there was all this paperwork to do and stuff like that. But that's the only thing that I can imagine Brandon doing when he arrived, is if whatever state he's in that's available. I cannot see this dude, especially after what he did, because obviously people in jail do not like that. I can't imagine him being in Gen Pop. There's just no way.
Brandon has proven in the past that he is capable of violence, and he has made these threats so many times it cannot be taken lightly. Not to say that one threat alone should be taken lightly. I'm a big proponent of free speech, but when people are making claims like this, they have to be taken seriously. It's one of the only preventative measures for these kinds of events that has some teeth, and in my opinion has saved countless lives already. There is no telling what Brandon would have done, but we do know what he has done, and it doesn't exactly scream a person incapable of the threats that he made. There is no telling how long Brandon will be in jail, but I can confidently say it's where he needs to be.
Yeah, maybe that's why I never heard of this guy, right? Because he got locked up after like the initial, you know, drama. That's shocking. Like I said, this never happens with these guys. Usually it's like they get caught 4 or 5 times doing the same thing and nothing ever happens. So, wow, I did not expect a happy ending to the end of the first one we're gonna cover, but that's the Brandon Brootal video. So let's move on to the next one. See what we got here. Charlie Chill. See, Brandon, I at least like knew Brandon's name going into his video, but this guy I've never seen him, I've never heard of him. So how old is this video? Let's see. This is from a year ago. So it's not even that old. So, all right, let's see what's up with this guy. Maybe we'll get lucky and he got locked up too.
Charles Marvin Green III, also known as Charlie Chill, was born on December 2nd, 1982. While you may not initially recognize Charles Marvin Green III, you might recognize his father, known widely across the internet as the Angry Grandpa. You might also recognize his younger brother, Michael Green, also known as Kid Behind a Camera. When someone first
Alright, I'm gonna level with you guys. I don't know either of those people either, so... Alright, let's see.
recommended I look into Charlie Chill for a video, I expected drama and rage, but I did not expect how utterly depraved this story would get, being one of the darkest I have covered on the channel, without a doubt. And as someone who grew up watching The Angry Grandpa Show, seeing this guy in numerous videos that I had watched while I was a kid, it is even more so shocking to learn what he has done. And I feel like the best way to understand everything is to go in chronological order. Even though Charlie made his first appearance on The Angry Grandpa Show back in 2013, it's 2015 where things really start to get interesting. In 2015, Charlie didn't have a job, he was homeless, and he owed money and child support for his one daughter. Having nowhere else to go, he decided to move in with his father, the Angry Grandpa. Angry Grandpa would say all that Charlie did was sit in his room, get drunk, and play GTA 5. He wouldn't help out around the house like he promised, he wouldn't get a job, and it seemed like his only interest was creating his own YouTube channel to piggyback off of the success of his father and brother. Things would continue like this for a while.
Lolcow have a job challenge impossible.
Until August 2016, when Charlie was sent to jail for unpaid child support. This was not his only brush with the law. Back in 2001, he had broken into a home and got arrested for it. In 2014, he was arrested once again for a hit and run and drug paraphernalia. And then, of course, this arrest for unpaid child support in 2016. In November of that same year, he would be released from jail and return home to Grandpa's, where the same kind of behavior continued. He wouldn't get a job, he wouldn't help out around the house, he would just sit around all day, using various drugs and drinking alcohol. We would not know until much later that Charlie was also forcing these types of substances onto the children who were living with Grandpa, and it wouldn't be until months later that they would reveal this was all occurring around this time. Here's a clip of them talking about how Charlie would threaten them into consuming these things.
What did Charlie do?
He gave me something to smoke.
What was it?
I don't know.
But you told him to smoke it. How old are you?
9, 10, I mean.
Give him something to smoke. Did he give you anything else?
Yes.
What?
Beer.
How you know it's beer?
Because he told me that. And then he gave me it.
Do you remember that day that your nose was busted and we were giving you stuff for it and stuff?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
When me and Jake was playing outside, and then he came outside and just hit to the door.
Who's he?
When I was playing with my brother Jacob.
Yeah, but who's he? Who did it to you?
Charlie.
I also forgot to mention that he hit
So far, this is like not... I mean, usually, like, when you find out what the crime the Lolcow did was, it's not funny. But, like, this is beyond... This is, like, even more not funny than most of them usually are.
another kid and threw him into a door. Like I said previously, at this point in the timeline, Michael and Grandpa had no idea that Charlie had pushed these substances onto a kid. Out of fear, they would hide this information until months later when Charlie messed up big time. But despite that, Grandpa had had enough of him sitting around and drinking all day. In this whole time after being released from prison, he hadn't even tried to get a job. And when Grandpa threw him out, he had to couch surf for a couple of days, until he manipulated his brother Michael into letting him live at his pool house. Michael at this point had made millions of dollars off of the Angry Grandpa show. He had a very nice house, with a pool, and of course a pool house, which was the size of many people's regular homes. Charlie would stay there, and him and Mike would make content together for a couple of weeks. During this time, Charlie's level of paranoia skyrocketed. He would rip apart the pool house looking for so-called speakers that Michael had planted to prank him, leading many to speculate that Charlie was abusing drugs. This would be confirmed when on June 29th, 2017, one of the most infamous events in the Angry Grandpa show's history would occur. It is known as the LSD incident, and it all started when one day Michael returned home to find Charlie completely out of his mind. Not only had he stripped naked and was jumping into the pool, but one of his fingers was charred black from being burnt. After trying to calm Charlie down and realizing that
I feel like we've left Lolcow territory and moved into, like, true crime territory. Like, I don't even feel like I'm watching Kiwi tapes right now. I feel like I'm watching, like, Explore With Us or Dreading or something, or Dire Trip. This is not what I expected from this.
He was in some kind of drug-induced psychosis. They decided to call the police, and when they arrived, this footage was taken.
I don't want to fucking leave. I've done nothing. No. Michael, is this your house? Is this your property? They're gonna tase you if you act like this. What have I done? You destroyed the pool house. You got in my face and started screaming at me when I tried to bring you something to eat. We did that. I'm not talking about no fake videos. I'm talking about an hour ago when I tried to bring you something to eat and you tried to launch at me. All right, let's go. You know what? I respect my brother. I'm not trying. Michael, I'm scared. I'm scared to death of you right now, bro. Come and give me a hug, man. Please don't do that. I'm going with the police. All we need you to do is get on the gurney, man. That's it. They're not trying to take you to the police. They're taking you to the hospital. Your hand's fucked up. You're the one that fucking put all my shit out on the fucking internet. How? When? You're the one that put my shit. Your fucking father, the goddamn fucking cousin. You are a drug addict. Do it. Do it. Can I press charges for praising a pool house, please? Yeah, this is real. Right here, this is real. Real stuff. Think your fake little YouTube stuff. My life is too fucked up.
Not only did Charlie have this massive meltdown.
Dude, this is insane. Like, this is actually just true crime now. This isn't even Lolcow stuff. Like, I don't even know. There's not even like a joke to crack. Like, this is fucked.
Down in front of Michael and his neighbors, but also to the viewers of his YouTube channel. In this drug-induced psychosis, he uploaded a number of illicit videos to his channel, resulting in a swift strike. As you heard in the video, he was taken off to the hospital for evaluation. His hand was treated, he was given drugs to sober up, and he was released that night. For some unknown reason, he decided to return to Michael's house, and as soon as Michael's girlfriend Bridget saw him, they had a confrontation.
Get out, that bitch! Get the fuck out, then, you stupid stink! Oh, so bad! Oh no, I'm fucking fat!
Bella, you fat.
And you're fucking homeless!
That's why you look.
You're stupid and fucking homeless!
That's why.
You're stupid alcoholic!
Hey, didn't you your cousin?
Charlie, who was now complete.
So much. So much just got said in that very, very short snippet of an argument. And, I don't know if you guys have ever had neighbors that would just, like, argue outside in the street full volume like that, but I've had a couple over the years. When I was a kid, I think when I was, like, maybe 12 years old, we had neighbors move in across the street, and they were, like, it was, like, probably a 3-bedroom house, but there was, like, 12 people living in there, man. Like, they moved all these, like, old junker cars onto the block. They were taking up, like, all the spots, and, there was just constantly, like, we didn't even know who lived in the house because there were just so many different, like, people. Like, there was just a rotating cast of people going in and out of the house constantly. And, like, maybe once every, like, 3 or 4 weeks, there would just be, like, 10 people standing in the driveway having, like, a blowout argument, and stuff like that would get yelled. Like, I just want to go back, like, 30 seconds so you can hear, like, some of the stuff that this person is yelling, because it's like people during these arguments just try to think of, like, all the absolute worst stuff they've ever heard about the other person, and they'll just Gatling gun fire it at you, like, one after the other.
Known reason, he decided to return to Michael's house, and as soon as Michael's girlfriend Bridget saw him, they had a confrontation.
Get out, that bitch! Get the fuck out, then, you stupid stink! Oh, so bad! Oh no, I'm fucking fat!
Bella, you fat.
And you're fucking homeless!
That's why you look.
You're stupid and fucking homeless!
That's why.
You're stupid alcoholic!
Hey, didn't you your cousin?
Charlie.
Pause. So, in a 30-second clip, we've just had allegations of fat, homeless, alcoholic, and incest. Like, rapid fire, ping pong, back to back. Like, there is no, you could not write a more intense argument than that.
Who was now completely sober, struck Bridget in the face multiple times.
Yeah, Bears beats Battlestar. That's exactly what you just wrote is what was said. Yes, that's what I heard too.
Seeing his girlfriend being beat on, Michael approached Charlie for a fight, where Charlie proceeded to pick up a piece of broken mirror and threatened to cut Michael with it. All of this would result in Charlie's 4th arrest, as Bridget and Michael were adamant about pressing charges. A couple days later, Charlie was released, and he would make his first apology video, blaming all of his actions on the drugs, even though he hit Bridget when he was sober, and denies that the assault even happened.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Charlie checking in here. I'm sorry to everybody, man. Everything that went down, it's my fault. It's true. I went out. I partied. I came home. I destroyed all my stuff, man. Dang. I raised hell, showed my butt, man. And this is my consequences, man.
I might need that as a bumper sticker. I raised hell. I showed my butt. And this is the consequences.
I didn't hit nobody. I promise you that. I did not, guys. I really don't know what else to say, man. I'm here at the bottom now, man. And maybe I do deserve it, guys. I just want to let you all know, man, that I want to apologize for letting you all down, man. And I want to try to do everything I can to try to make it better and come back a better person. So that's it.
This is a reoccurring theme when it comes to Charlie. He will often mess up and often blame it on drug or alcohol abuse. But it's like I say with Only Use Me Blade, if you know that you're a monster when you take these substances and you still take them, then you have a hand in it. You are actively making the choice to consume something that you know will turn you into a danger to your friends and family. Piss poor.
God, should I do a Blade video, guys? Like, Blade is such a menace, and I feel like a lot of times, just like this video, it's more like sad and fucked up than it is funny. But at the same time, there's been like some really funny Blade shit over the years. That might be I don't even think he's in my intro. I included a lot of like the deep cut ones, like Tony Chase, and like I think Boogie's in there. I know Wings of Redemption is in there because I got him pushing Keemstar. I might have to do a Blade video. That might be some inspo for me.
Poor excuses run very thick in the mind of Charles Green III, but they were not enough to convince his brother Michael and Bridget to drop the charges, as well as let him back into their lives. And upon telling the rest of the family what Charles had done, a veritable floodgate of stories from the past began to be told. Many of the people who had been victimized by Charlie kept quiet out of fear, not only the kids who he gave drugs and alcohol to, but also his 2 sisters, who had come forward with some harrowing stories from their childhood. Stories of Charlie and his friend doing absolutely unspeakable things to them. Now that the LSD incident had occurred and Charles was shunned from the family, his sisters felt safe enough to come forward with the truth.
You have to work, all this stuff. Don't film this. Don't film this. No, I want this film. This is too much. No. They need to know what kind of guy he really is. To his own sister. If I know right, you, I'd have took him. I bet you try to protect your kids, man, but if you don't know what's going on, you. Kim.
That is the cringiest Batman Arkham t-shirt I have ever seen.
Just told us, and then now Jennifer, that Charles and one of his friends forced themselves onto both of my sisters.
When I told you that this was one of the darkest things I have ever covered on my channel, I'm not lying. You expect your older siblings to keep you safe, to set a good example. Instead, Charlie did what he did. I remember all of this drama going down back in the day. I knew that he had assaulted Bridget, but until I had researched this video, I did not know that detail. Of course, after all of this was revealed, Charlie was swiftly excommunicated from the family, and he would go off on Twitter against Michael and the Angry Grandpa, and flat out admitting that what he had done to his sisters was true. In 2017, the Angry Grandpa's health was failing. He had a number of medical health problems, including cirrhosis of the liver. And when the Angry Grandpa was in the hospital because of this, Charlie would make Twitter posts talking about how he wished Angry Grandpa would hurry up so that he can shit on his grave.
I've never really understood where the line is between the term Lolcow and the term horror cow, because I feel like all the Lolcows are horror cows. Like, they all did horror shit, right? But like, I don't know, this might be this might be teaching me where the line is drawn, because I don't know, I don't think I've laughed like once since this one started. I might have cracked like one joke, like there might have been one thing that he said that I kind of laughed at the beginning before we even really got into what he actually did, but like since then it's just been all downhill. Like this shit isn't even funny.
Blaming all of the trouble that he was facing now, both legal and personal, on Michael and the angry grandpa. This angered one of Michael's friends, a man named Isaac, who began to make videos about Charlie's crimes and call him out on Twitter. Once Charlie caught wind of what Isaac was doing, he would make this video, threatening Isaac and inviting him to his house for a fight.
Yeah, you know what? A fat boy wants to get there and get on his live stream and sit there, blah, 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 blah. He wants to run his fucking mouth. He wants to bump his fucking gums and say he's going to do this, that, and the third. Isaac, I give you permission to come to my house, bro. Now, this is me putting it out here for the whole fucking world. I'm calling Isaac out. I'm going to beat Isaac's fat motherfucking ass if he fucking tries me. He ran his fucking mouth for so long, and now you got the fucking beast Charlie in your motherfucking face, and you going to get on fucking Twitter. You going to get on your YouTube and shit. You ain't going to jump in your fucking car like you did last time?
So
I'm just going to go out on a limb and guess right now that if this fight actually happened, there's no way it went well for Charlie, because guys who hit women can never fight. That's just always the case. Like, anyone that it ever comes out that they hit a girl, they can never fight. They're never a good fighter. It's never the case. So, like, I don't care what type of shape Charlie is saying that Isaac is in. This cannot have gone well for him.
So Isaac immediately jumps in his car, like last time, and drives to Charlie's new location, taking him up on the offer that Charlie so graciously extended. But as usual, Charlie is all talk and no action.
I can't hear you. You don't want no trouble. Didn't you say you're gonna whip my ass?
Yo, the way you can barely hear him through the door.
You're gonna call the cops. I thought you said you're gonna whip my ass. Didn't you threaten my family? Well, I'm here.
Don't let Isaac's Discord mod physique fool you. He towers over Charlie, and even if Charlie wasn't an utter coward, I don't think that's a fight he could win. You see, Charlie's whole thing is victimization of the weak. He is, in the truest sense of the word, a bully, putting up the front of some tough guy, not very well might I add, while having the heart of a pure coward. Charlie threatened this man's family, he threatened him, and when he showed up looking for the smoke, Charlie didn't want none of it. A true testament of his character. Interactions like this would occur with Charlie for months to come, until a pivotal event happened within the Angry Grandpa universe. In December of 2017, Grandpa dies, and Charlie is allowed back into the family for the funeral and in the spirit of forgiveness. It seemed like everyone except for his two sisters welcomed him back just fine. Michael even going so far as to help Charlie boost his YouTube career, bringing him.
That's crazy. How did everybody else after him doing all that, like, they were all just cool? Like, I don't know. I know when there's a death in the family, people like kind of pull together, but that seems to be pushing the limits of that in my opinion.
Him on collabs with YouTubers like McJuggernuggets, Keemstar, and Dame Drops. During this time, Charlie would remain publicly sober, and he would make amends with Bridget. It all seemed like somehow, some way, Charlie had gotten away with it, until a night when Charlie would post a video of him clearly drunk. And after that video, he would go on a massive Twitter rant about a fellow Angry Grandpa cast member named Tina. Realizing that Charlie had relapsed, or perhaps never been sober at all, Michael decided to cut him out of his life once more. Michael referenced that it was Angry Grandpa's wish that Charlie be brought back into the family and forgiven, but also that Michael was to keep an eye on Charlie, and if it ever seemed like he would be a danger again, he was to cut him off. Michael would keep this promise to his father, and Charlie would never have the same access to the family again. After a couple of weeks of pleading with Michael, this finally sank in for Charlie, and resorting to his roots as an absolute scumbag, he made a live stream where he threatened Michael and Bridget explicitly.
These people just do not know how to stop burning bridges. Like, that's all they do.
Here is a small clip from that.
Hear me, Michael? I'm not 100 miles away from you, dude. And I know where you live.
I also don't know how you could, like, in good faith, make a threat to anybody after you got exposed hiding behind a door and threatening to call the police on the last person that you threatened to beat them up. like, you've lost all credibility. So for you to get back out there and try it again, just, I can't even imagine having the gall to do that.
And you want to keep running your mouth? You want to keep acting up? Then I'm going to come to you while you sleep. You want to keep running your mouth? You want to keep pushing people to the edge? I'm going to show you the edge. This is real life right here. This isn't YouTube.
I'm gonna show you the edge while this dude with the bleach blonde hair and no shirt and the bead necklace looks deep into your eyes. That seemed a little bit less like a threat and a little bit more like a promise, if you guys know what I mean. Like that was very sensual of Charlie Chill.
This isn't a skit.
No, right after I said that, he does that? What the fuck?
I could be at your house in 20 minutes. Oh, I can be at your house in an hour.
Yeah, this is just like... This is a dating ad, dude. Like, this is his Tinder bio.
I can be at your house in 1 hour.
I could be at your... I could be at your house in an hour. I'm gonna take you to the edge. Tongue out emoji.
Response to this threat that was much more explicit in the parts that I had to cut out, Kid Behind a Camera gives us a very rare Chad moment and posts this video to his Twitter.
Probably talking about killing me, and I'm over here like...
This is how unafraid people are of the tough guy persona that he throws up. Even Kid Behind a Camera is not scared of your threats. And you can best believe that this response from Michael caused Charlie Chill to go on another Twitter meltdown. Charlie would constantly claim to have moved on from all the drama just to get back on Twitter to threaten Isaac, Michael, and Bridget. He would get progressively skinnier and more tweaked out. Though the rest of his family had moved on from having him in their lives, it seemed like he could just not let go the fact that they wanted nothing to do with him, and especially the fact that they were doing so much better than he was. You see, Charlie would constantly have to start new channels because he would either get really messed up on some kind of drug and post illicit materials to them, or he would go live either threatening his trolls or Michael. Because of this kind of behavior, he went through almost a dozen channels over the years. But after one YouTube banning, he decided to move over to Twitch, and in 2019, he would have one of his biggest meltdowns ever on livestream, threatening his family, being about as egotistical as one could be, and at the end, exposing himself out of rage, all while he is playing a video game with children.
You are going down. Everybody already fucking knows it, bro. I'm gonna sit here and tell you that you're a piece of trash. And I'm gonna tell you that you're fucking rat suck, and that you have never learned a goddamn fucking thing in this world because it was always just fucking given to you, little bastard. I think I'm a good-looking guy, but I don't think just like women are just gonna throw themselves at me unless they have a reason to, you know. And Bridget's mom had a reason to throw herself at me because she was working for Michael. Because dude, I'm gonna stalk Michael. And I'm gonna smack him in his fucking face one day. Within the next 2 weeks, Michael, I'm gonna smack you in your fucking face, and you're gonna know what the fuck you done to me. Michael, you don't know when I'm coming, but it's coming, and I'm gonna take you somewhere special.
You don't know. Did he just say, "You don't know when it's coming, but it's coming"? And I'm going to take you somewhere special. Why do all of his threats sound like a pickup line? Like, does he mean to be doing this? Is this like a subconscious thing?
I'm going to help you see what I see. You want to see my dick? Suck my fucking ass.
This, of course, would result in his Twitch channel being banned. Not much else has happened in Charlie's life except for these behaviors repeating themselves. He's now married to a woman named Erica. That was whose house he was streaming from on Twitch all day while she went out and worked. something which Charlie still doesn't do. He relies on Erica and the couple dozen people that actually believe that he's still innocent. Charlie today, in 2023, claims that he's a changed man, and he is no longer Charlie Chill, when he's still displaying the exact same kind of behavior. He's still going on Twitter rants against Michael, Isaac, and Bridget, he still is drinking heavily, among using other things, and he still is mooching off just about anyone he can. Now, it's just his wife. The main reason I made this video today, and I stuck with making it, is because Charlie Chill wants all of this to be forgotten. He thinks that if he sells enough people the lie that he is a changed man, he can have somewhat of an online career still. But don't be fooled, he's exactly the same. He's the same person that did what he did to his sisters, that hit Bridget in the face, and that gave drugs and alcohol to children. Charles Martin Green III is an absolutely detestable human being, one who I think is incapable of truly changing, only bouncing from place to place for as long as people can stand his scam. Charlie, on the off chance that
See, this had like the opposite ending of the last one that we watched. The last one, I was like, oh shit, he's in jail, this is awesome. This guy got a happy ending. He got married, now he gets to stay home and stream while she goes to work. That's terrible. I don't like how this ended at all. I'm surprised there's not like a new update about this. I guess he's been kind of flying under the radar, but damn, that one sucked. That was bad vibes, guys. That was not it wasn't funny. It wasn't much to laugh at. So let's
Sarah Rawrr.
Let's get into this next one and see if I'm hoping this is funnier, because that last one was like, that was a downer for me. That kind of sucked.
Also known as Sarah Undergrove, is a 26-year-old woman from the state of New York, going somewhat viral for her intense attraction to the fictional character Eddie Munson from Stranger Things, as well as numerous other controversies. The TikTok that
The only thing that I know about that guy is that he's supposed to be the new Human Torch, I'm hearing, which I think is weird. Because when I think about the Human Torch, like, I think Chris Evans was like an awesome cast for him. Like, he had that like kind of, I don't know, like kind of California douchebag mentality to him that I liked. Like, he was like, he felt like the Johnny Storm that I know from like the comics and the cartoons. But I don't know, I've only ever seen this actor play one character, and it was the Eddie Stranger Things guy. So I don't know, I haven't really seen his range, but that's not like relevant at all. Just a sidebar.
Brought Sarah to the wider attention of the public was called War is Over. It depicts Sarah outside during the first snow of the year, dancing to the famous song by John Lennon, Merry Xmas, only for her to dramatically pause as the words "War is Over" shoots up onto the screen. At the time she was recording this, there were numerous massive conflicts going on around the world, so many assumed that it was in reference to one of those, but it's what comes next that made this TikTok garner millions of views. 6 months, 11 days, 86 hours, 30 minutes, 20 seconds since Eddie Munson has left us.
Bro, if this if this video, let me see how old this is. I hate to like jump out of it like that, but a year old. Okay. All right. So we were deep into Israel Palestine, deep into Ukraine Russia. But like, fuck all them kids, right? Fuck all those drafted disabled people. It's just R.I.P. Eddie Munson. That's the tragedy in the world.
I really don't even know where to begin with this whole Eddie Munson thing because it's so extensive, so I'll just start very simply and we'll build from there. Eddie Munson is a fictional character portrayed in the 4th season of the popular Netflix show Stranger Things. Portrayed by the actor Joseph Quinn, Eddie Munson quickly became a fan favorite, but as you could tell by the TikTok I previously showed you, this goes so much further for Sarah. I'm not even exaggerating when I say I have seen hundreds of Eddie Munson TikToks on her page. Most are just pictures or art of Eddie thrown together that she likes, but some of this stuff is beyond elaborate. Sarah has a series with over 40 parts depicting the life that she and Eddie Munson would live together. It can get...
That is That is horrifying. I can't remember what her name was, but there was a video I watched on Kiwi Tapes the other day about a girl who had she had like an online fake relationship with her OC and somebody from Lazy Town, and I'm getting like these vibes from it.
Pretty graphic at times, so you would not be surprised to know that Sarah has lost TikTok pages before due to lewd Munson posting. Let me just read one of these more PG Munson posts for you guys real quick.
See, what people these days don't understand is that, like, this type of content, this is for, like, AO3. This is for, like, Archive of Our Own. This is for fanfiction.net. This is maybe even, if you're really crazy, this is for Tumblr. This is not for TikTok. This is not for YouTube. You're just barking up the wrong tree, bro. Like, you could be you could be accepted somewhere else, but you're just on the wrong platform.
Sarah, I do have some other birthday surprises for you. Edward Wayne Munson. I swear to God you don't have to do anything for me. My love for you, Sarah, has no price tag. You deserve to be treated like royalty. So I got you something else. Yeah, that's about enough of that. I'm sure you've been able to gather by now.
I thought that was gonna go so much worse than it went. But I also know in my heart that there's other posts where it did.
Now that Sarah really likes Eddie. She has tried to emulate many of his characteristics, at least ones that she perceives, getting her very own Eddie cosplay and calling herself a metalhead. The amount of hours put into Eddie Munson worship displayed on the Sarah Rawrr TikTok page is astounding. And I found myself wondering, why does she do all of this? I've heard of people who are really into fictional characters, but this is a whole new level. So to truly understand it, I think that we have to have Sarah explain it to us in her own way.
I'm mentally ill with brown hair, messy room, clothes everywhere. Mommy was never really there, mommy was never really there. I go for the fictional guys, it's not a phase, they're just...
This is testing me, guys. Like, I thought the last one was bad because the last one wasn't funny. And I asked before this started, I was like, can this please be funny? And it is, but it might also somehow be worse.
It's my type. The tarot cards say we're gonna fight. They broke my heart, and one thing's for sure, I don't like real boys anymore.
Not gonna lie, pretty catchy hook.
I don't like real boys anymore.
On a different occasion, Sarah claimed that her obsession with the character Eddie Munson stems from a dead best friend of hers, who, God rest his soul, reminded her of Eddie. Sarah would even share a photo of her friend who sadly passed away. A reverse image search proved that it was just a model that she had ripped from Google Images.
See, why do they all do that? This is like some Cyrax shit. This is what Cyrax does, where he constantly fakes having been close with people who, like, tragically passed away. It's just another example of, like, I don't know, Lolcows have, like, they're like Sims. They only have, like, a certain list of, like, commands that they can carry out, and for some reason, faking being the best friend of someone who passed away in some tragedy is, like, it's up there. It's, like, one of the top, like, 10 things that they do.
Leaving us no answers as to the source of her infatuation. After years of Eddie posting, Sarah finally got the opportunity to fly to a convention and meet Joseph Quinn, the actor who portrayed Eddie Munson, in person. Sarah flew from New York to Texas for this, and could not have been happier to meet Joseph, who...
I think if I were an actor in a fandom that had, like, a feral fan community, like Stranger Things, Doctor Who, Supernatural, like anything like that, even if I was like a third-tier character, I would probably never do fan signings, just, or like the photo ops with the fans, just for fear of being, like, just having something, like, you're gonna wake up in one of these people's basements. Like, there's so many people like this online, and I think I would be shaking in my boots to be around these people in any actual physical proximity. Like, that would terrify me.
After taking a couple photos with Sarah, helped her up after she tripped. Or at least that's what Sarah claims. Now that we've established that she is absolutely head over heels in love with Eddie Munson, let me lay a little bit of crucial information on you. Sarah has a boyfriend who she talks about 100 times less than Eddie Munson. In fact, it seems to be that way with every other man as well.
Oh, what the fuck? I cannot imagine getting cucked by a fictional character. We're almost 5 minutes into this, and there's been like 100 clips from Eddie Munson videos, and this is the first time we're seeing this guy.
She is extremely flirty with anybody that she perceives to be male in her live stream chats, especially the ones that come on panel and speak to her. She's got at least 2 or 3 of these other dudes who she'll bring on panel just to flirt with. And I haven't even gotten to her best friend Tim, whose house she frequently spends the night at, and saying that her boyfriend Michael has been cheated on is actually backed up with a good bit of evidence. After staying at one of her female friends' houses, it became clear that Sarah had overstepped her bounds. This friend would go on to publicly state that Sarah had cheated on Michael 2 times that she knew of. She also had some other things to say about Sarah's stay.
Out of all the things that I joke about in regards to these lunatics, for the most part, even with like Brandon Brootal, I kind of made fun of his clothes, but I try to stay away from like their appearances. But all I'm gonna say is like, how is this person finding multiple people to cheat on her boyfriend with? I don't know what's going on here. There's got to be something like in the water in this town.
She was smoking cigarettes in the house, stealing lighters, and even flirting with her friend's boyfriend, which resulted in her getting kicked out. Her friend's statement and all of the stuff that I've seen in the clips paint a very clear picture as to what's going on. And all of this makes more sense the longer you watch Sarah, because the sheer amount of pointless lies is staggering.
When you finally find the Target exclusive Eddie Munson Funko Pop, but you have not 1, but 2 in your cart because you were actually surprising your great friend with 1, and 1 for yourself, like a good human would. So far and behold, I got punched in the face by a man at Target. This has healed. This is worse. I have like a little bump on my nose. It's not a pimple. I got punched, so my black eye has gotten better.
I don't see anything. Like I don't know. Do you guys? I'm not seeing anything at all.
This hurts like shit because I wear glasses. So yeah, again, I got punched, knocked out, didn't get any of the Funko Pops or the Eddie Munson ones because this creepy ass guy got both. Target, bring them back and do better, please. Thank you!
Are you tired of listening to your Eddie Munson on inferior wireless earbuds? Well then let me tell you about the sponsor of today's video, Raycon.
I was like, what? What is he leading into with this? I don't think I've ever seen a Kiwi video before that had like an in-video ad. Good for him though, seriously. That's insane. Nobody got knocked out of Target over an Eddie Munson Funko Pop. That's like all I have for that.
Below. Oh, I also forgot to tell you that she owns over 100 Funko Pops that she pronounces Funko Pops. The more you know. Sarah's lies have always been at the forefront of controversy surrounding her, but the Irish Eyes incident would take it to a whole nother level. Sarah has a habit of taking people's artwork, music, photographs, and calling them her own. This has happened countless times, and some of them have been more catastrophic than others, More on that later. But the point I'm trying to make here is that she's very fond of taking these things, slightly altering them, and then putting them out there as her own 100% original work. A prime example being the Irish Eyes incident. Sarah would take the song Irish Eyes by Rise Betts, change a couple of words, and then claim that she came up with the whole thing originally. While I
See, I feel like during like early YouTube, I could understand people trying to get away with this type of thing because I don't know, it was a different time. Like there wasn't so much fact checking going on. It wasn't as easy to come across the stuff that you wanted to come across on the internet. But I don't know, within the last like 5 years, I can't imagine trying to like steal somebody else's art on the internet because it's just so easy to check that. You know what I mean? Like it's ridiculously easy to do like how they caught her with the fake best friend earlier, right? They just did a reverse image search. It's the same thing with songs. You could just, I mean, there's a million different programs that you can just have it listen and like find the song. Like I can't imagine they're not even like trying to get away with this stuff really.
can't play you the original version of the song, I can show you Sarah's version, which is a sight to behold.
My father says I have Irish eyes, Irish eyes, Irish eyes. My father says I have Irish eyes. They go ever so green on a bright spring sky, but they're never so green as when I let them cry. My mother says I have Puerto Rican hair, Puerto Rican hair.
What? Like, what?
Brown like the bark of a palm somewhere, like the bed of the rocks where the sea meets, like a thorn in the stem of a Spanish flower.
The problem people had is not her singing this song, but her claiming that she came up with the whole thing herself. And
No, pause, because my problem was her singing the song.
like I said, this happens with other forms of media as well, including artwork and photographs. But the plagiarism is just scratching the surface, guys. Let me read some of her boldest claims. That she is Jacksepticeye's cousin. She's got pictures of him in her basement, just cluttered under some stuff. She'll even get mad when you call him Jack and not Sean. She claims to have anxiety Tourette's, though we've never seen any proof of this. Claimed to have been an understudy on a Broadway play.
See, this is what I'm talking about just like really easy to catch them in lies. Like, I feel like there's stuff you could make up on the internet that there's just no way that people could really verify without like an intense amount of like work. Being Jacksepticeye's cousin? Like, that's that's so easy to just immediately verify that you're not. What?
Fans confirmed this was a lie by aligning some pictures of a play that she went to see around the time she claimed she was acting in it. One of the most convoluted ones I could find was where she claimed she was hit by a bus when she was 15. She said this put her in a coma, stopping her brain from further developing. Later, her story would change when she claims it was a car and not a bus. Sarah's mom would publicly state that the car barely hit her, and Sarah was just simply overreacting. Much like Sarah's story, her mother's story also changed to match exactly with Sarah's. Her mother even stating that she suffered a similar incident when she was younger.
And when we got to the island, I was just trying to eat my lunch on the island, which is like one of the many, many islands in New York on the river. There are hundreds, actually, that you could like camp out on and be safe. So one day, I was just eating my apple and my peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and she decided to punch me in the spine. It wasn't cool of her. I don't know why she punched me in the spine, but she did. And
if you believe the life that this person is saying that they live, there's just buses flying at them, they're getting attacked in Target, they're getting like kicked while they're down for no reason. Like, this is just, I don't know, like how many insane things like this can happen to one person in a relatively short period of time.
I went to the tall pier, like, you could climb this tall rock, so I sat on the edge of this rock just to try to cool off, and, yeah, I accidentally dropped my apple in the Hudson River, and I wasn't even done eating it, so, it sucks I lost my apple, But when we got back, it started to rain on the Hudson River, so we were like trying to canoe back as fast as possible to the shore. It was like maybe, I don't know, 30 meters from the island to the shore. And our canoe, my canoe that I wasn't canoeing. I was sitting in the middle because I was a big girl. They wanted me to sit in the middle. And the canoe flipped over, and I tried swimming with my life vest, but when I found out when Emily hit my spine, which is dead center, she kind of moved one of my vertebrae. Like, she punched me so hard in the spine that it moved one of my vertebrae. So I was in a life vest just floating in the Hudson River, and when someone pulled me ashore, which is just one of the older like counselors, I said I need to go to a hospital, and they didn't believe me.
You know, most people's camp story is that they had like a European boyfriend or some shit. I don't even know. Like, it's it's something relatively reasonable where you can tell that they're lying, but at the same time you're just like, it's not that out there. This is somehow so much worse and more cringe than that.
So I literally got hypothermia, I got sick, and my spine was purple.
One of Sarah's most convoluted lies would have to be the "Why does bad things happen to me?" TikTok video, where she claims that after a group of teens on bikes pushed her down a hill, she crawled up to be helped by no cars passing by. This would lead to her weeping and contemplating society, all on camera. She claimed that Stan Lee offered her a speaking role in one of his movies, and that she had a cousin on the set of Stranger Things Season 3.
That's kind of a funny lie too, just as far as the ones that don't like make sense, because actually both of those are, now that I'm processing them both. So one, if you had a cousin that was on the set of Stranger Things, based on your previous lie, that would mean that Jacksepticeye had a family member that was on Stranger Things, which would probably be like news. But the other one that's funny is that, like, when they picked Brie Larson to be Captain Marvel, I don't think Stan Lee personally called her. Like, I don't think you get a call from, like, Stan the man himself just being like, hey, I want you to be, I'm gonna need you to be Captain Marvel. Like, no, absolutely not. Like, you get, like, a casting call. Like, it's not Stan Lee himself calling you. Just, I don't, like, your cell phone rings and it's just old-ass Stan Lee. Like, it's like she doesn't even try to like make her lies believable. This is just somebody who's just speaking all of their fan fictions that they should be writing directly into a camera.
Who let her hang out around the set. I've got just one more lie of Sarah's that I'd like to cover, and it's a doozy. The TikTok where Sarah claims she ended a domestic terrorist incident with nothing but the power of interpretive dance, much like in the show The OA. I could go on with instances like this all day, and so could Sarah.
No, I will not leave us out of this, because we, as Puerto Ricans, have to stick together.
Why has everything that she said for the last 13 minutes and 44 seconds been in the most flat Midwestern American accent I've ever heard in my life, but then she tried to do like some type of an accent when she said the words Puerto Rican and loudly said we? What are you doing? What are we doing?
And no, I don't speak very good Spanish, but my abuela and my rest of my family at least can understand we have a conversation because I understand Spanish. And if you don't believe me that I can speak a little bit, here I go.
No, I don't. The discomfort with which you just struggled to say abuela, and then just the rest of my, not even like mi abuela and mi familia, like my abuela and, you know, all the other family. Like, all right, I'm gonna let her go. What the, all right, go ahead.
I'm gonna name food that is from Puerto Rico. Empanadas, chicharrones, rice en gandules, pasteles, pincos.
Not rice y gandules. Rice and... What the fuck? The, like, slurring the trying to roll the R is killing me right now.
Panin. Sweet plátanos, plátanos. Am I...
Sweet platanos and platanos. And I'm not going to pretend like I speak fluent Spanish, but I know sweet in Spanish is not sweet.
Am I not convincing enough that I'm Spanish?
Sarah had told so many lies that I don't even know if she knew what the truth was anymore. So when I came across some disturbing allegations of things that she was doing on her Twitter page, at first I took them with a grain of salt. But sadly, there was a lot more to it, and this is where the video starts to get a little darker. As we covered earlier in the Eddie Munson section, Sarah is a gigantic fan of the Netflix show Stranger Things. This show features a cast of primarily children fighting some kind of interdimensional invasion, from what I can gather. But I'm not getting on to Sarah for simply liking the show. What I'm criticizing her for is some of the artwork that she reposted to her Twitter account. Back when Sarah's Twitter was still public, she would post a staggering amount of NSFW content, usually drawings of characters that she enjoyed from various franchises. And as we talked about earlier, Stranger Things is her favorite franchise, and some of this art included children. Though Sarah simply screenshotted this art and claimed it as her own, she was still spreading around these illicit materials. When all of this was discovered by the public, she was rightly criticized, and Sarah scrambled to explain her actions. One excuse was that people were paying her to do this. Another one was that she was hacked. But once she saw that no one was buying the lie, she began to lightly address it in her live streams.
Yeah, I like what I like, as long as it's not breaking any U.S. official laws.
I personally wouldn't be into it, but you do you.
No, I'm just saying, as long as it's not breaking any laws, I don't think that's, like, a crime.
I think... Oh my god. If it's not, it should be. And I think... I'm not sure, but I want to say that it is. I don't know if that's a jurisdictional thing, but it feels like it would be.
Yeah, it's just something like what I like. It's like I'm not.
She's not. Let me just clarify that she's not attracted to children. Everybody.
Someone else cannot clarify that for you, and if they feel like they have to, you're already like. You're far behind.
Just like
exactly, I'm a nanny. I babysit.
Yeah.
That is not a no. That's not a. If people are accusing you of that, you saying that that's your job, that's not a defense. That's a threat.
It's not.
Tim's seen me work with the kids I work with.
Yeah.
I'm sleeping over at Tim's house.
I think I get a pretty good rating. What do you think, Sarah?
When she realized that she would not be able to explain herself, she privated her Twitter account, and now tries to sweep any mention of this under the rug. Sarah's defense reminds me of a certain someone. By claiming that these images are drawn and not real, it makes it okay. But it has been well established that it is the intent behind these drawings and the desire that is carried with them that everybody finds disturbing. It is not simply the fact that it is drawn illicit material, it is the age of the characters depicted, and the workarounds that some people employ to try to make it okay in their mind. Just because this little girl is actually a 9,000-year-old vampire is no kind of defense, and public backlash for these kinds of things will always be swift.
I'm getting flashbacks to the White Bowser with the Tawawawa on a Monday or whatever the fuck it was called.
As well as unforgiving. Look at Vosh, a guy whose career in content creation was looking up, until he revealed a folder full of images, much like what Sarah enjoys, and society has deemed rightly so that these behaviors are unacceptable. But Sarah can't wrap her head around this. Through a combination of arrogance and believing her own lies, she has convinced herself that it is only a select few that think these types of behaviors are unacceptable, preventing her from taking any kind of accountability or making any kinds of changes. While I found Sarah's Munson posting absolutely hilarious, I find that it is the other kinds of posts that she is making that are more telling of her true character. And that's all I have on Sarah Rawrr today, guys. Thank you so much for watching, especially till the end.
Damn, guys, that one was that one was what I wanted it to be, in the sense that it was significantly funnier than that middle video that we watched was on that Charlie Chill guy, but Jesus Christ, it was also like, what a rabbit hole to go down. Like, I feel like a lot of these, almost like every little segment on the every segment of this video was like, could have been its own entire arc. Like, there were like 15 arcs that she went through in like one less than 20-minute long deep dive. So I don't know. I wonder if she'll ever come back. This was over a year old, and this was the most recent video that I came across on her. But I don't know. This might have to be a recurring thing on the show. I've been wanting to go live a little bit more often. I do enjoy doing it, but because I do my update coverage on each of the cows like throughout the week, I'm never really sure what to do. But this whole like kind of going through discovering new people that I haven't exactly, you know, explored it all yet has been kind of fun. So let me know if you guys liked it. I'm gonna watch this back in the morning tomorrow, and I might have to cut some words out here and there, but I'll probably do a re-upload as long as it all looks good and sounds good. So for you guys who stuck with me throughout the stream, thank you so much. I appreciate it. If you like the content, please like and subscribe, and until next time, you guys have a good night.